Welcome to class today. So today we're going to be working into our hips, working into our shoulders, using both flexibility and strength. So make sure you're listening to what your body needs from you today and work a little deeper or longer in places. Just really make this class yours. Namaste. Let's come to a comfortable seat here. Taking inner thigh rotation so that the pelvis can be upright. Remember, you can always sit on a block or on a blanket to lift the hips if that's better for you. Relax into your hips and shoulders, sitting nice and tall here, closing your eyes. And begin to focus on your breath. Begin to expand into each breath. And eventually make your way to that just beyond comfortable place. Keeping the breath flowing smooth, full, and even. Let's begin to add movement in here. So extend the arms out to the sides, and with your inhale, reach them all the way up. And exhale, bring them back down again. Let's do that again. And then one more time. Inhaling back to the top. And then we'll exhale the right hand back to the mat. Give yourself a little tip to that right side, keeping the left shoulder drawn back. And with the next inhale, bring yourself back to center and switch sides, taking it to the left. Pelvis stays rooted, the spine stays long. We'll come back to center, inhale. One more time, again over to the right. Taking a little bit deeper stretch if you can. Come back to center. And switch, taking it to the left. Inhaling to come back up to the middle. And then we'll exhale, releasing the arms back to the sides. Keep the spine nice and tall here. Bring the left hand to the right knee and give yourself a little baby twist over to the right. Focusing more on keeping the pelvis upright and the spine tall, and just letting the twist be what it is for right now. Releasing that, come back through the center, do the exact same thing on your second side. Let's release back to the middle. Take the first side again. Use your right arm like a second spine, sitting extra tall, and then pulling against the knee to rotate the belly button to the right. Rotating your side ribs toward the back of the mat, drawing the right shoulder back, maybe even looking over the shoulder as far as you can see. Big breaths. And then releasing, coming back through the middle and over to your second side. So deepening and evening up the twist, sitting tall. Releasing back to the middle. From here, we're going to make our way around onto hands and knees. Take your time placing the wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Make sure the weight of your body is even on the hands. Inhale, take the belly toward the floor. And then exhale to round the spine toward the ceiling. Connected to your breath. In and out of those two poses. Gently moving deeper into the spine as your body is ready. Taking one more flow like that. And then finding a middle here. Making sure the belly's pulled in. Keep the shoulders neutral on the back and transition into a kneeling plank. So top of a push-up, belly supporting the lower back here, head in line with the spine. You can absolutely stay on the knees, or we're going to lift the knees up off the floor. We won't be here long, so don't worry if it's a little challenging. Extend through the heels, make the legs do the work. Take a nice big breath. And then make your way into down dog. And of course, allow yourself to shift and wiggle. Stretch your legs out. Getting into the shoulders here. Allowing yourself to settle in, sinking through the heels, pressing the chest back. Strong and steady through the arms. From our down dog here, let's walk the feet forward and make our way into a standing fold. Feet up underneath the hip bones, toes point forward. Allowing yourself to walk in place, moving a little bit deeper into the hamstrings. And then bringing yourself to stillness here, taking the legs as straight as they'll be. Slide the hands to the thighs, bring the upper body halfway up, so parallel-ish to the floor, supported by the lower belly, leaning with the hands if you need. Big full breaths here. And then we'll bend into the knees, sit the hips back, making our way into a chair. So check in that your knees and toes are pointing in the same direction. You can stay supported, come center, lifting the arms if that's you. Strong and even into the feet here. Keeping the chest lifted. We'll inhale, stretch up, and exhale, release the arms. Taking the hands to the thighs, let's hinge back over into that half fold. Lean if you need to lean, and then come all the way down again. From here, we'll step back and come to down dog. So with the elbow creases pointing in here, fingers are going to stay doing what they're doing. We're going to rotate the elbow creases toward each other. And then when you bend the elbows, you can come down to the forearms. And ideally, at the same time, maybe not so much. Pressing the chest back toward the thighs just like we do in down dog. And then dropping down to the knees, take a moment in child's pose. Making your way back up onto forearms and knees, grab the outside edge of your opposite elbow, bringing the elbows up underneath the shoulders. Arms are out in Sphinx, so parallel to each other here. You can interlace the fingers out front if you like. Pressing down into the forearms, imagine pulling your elbows toward each other up underneath. So setting ourselves up just a little bit better aligned than when we came down. Lifting the knees away from the floor, press your chest back toward the thighs just like we did earlier. And you can even sink your heels toward the mat. Give yourself a nice stretch through the backs of the legs here. Making sure the head stays far away from the floor. Strong and steady into your arms. And then dropping back down to the knees and sitting back in child's pose again. So let's do that again. Make your way up onto your forearms and knees. Grab the outside edge of the opposite elbow, bringing the forearms either into Sphinx or interlaced out front. Following your breath here, on an exhale, bring your chin toward your thumbs, and then inhale and press the chest back toward the thighs. So forward and back like that. You can inhale or exhale forward as long as you're connected to your breath. In and out like that. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, lift the knees away from the floor, but the body does the same thing. Chin comes forward, and then the chest presses back. You can take a couple on your knees, a couple off your knees. Listen to your body. Make sure the head stays far away from the floor. If you start sinking into the shoulders, just take a break. Make sure the belly's pulled in, supporting the lower back. Smooth and controlled with the breath here. And then we'll drop down to the knees, take it back into child's pose. So we're going to do that one more time, and we're going to add on. If adding on is not right for you, don't add on. Here, making your way back up onto your forearms, setting the elbows up underneath the shoulders, Sphinx arms or interlaced fingers. Pressing down into the forearms, steady and strong into the foundation. Pulling the elbows toward each other up underneath. This time we're going to lift the knees up off the floor. Keep the chest pressing back toward the thighs. Head stays far away from the floor. And instead of the upper body moving forward, the lower body's going to come in. So walking the toes forward, and then walking them back again. You can drop back down to your knees, resume the forward and back with the upper body if that's you. Remember, if the upper body is coming forward, the lower body does not. So taking a couple more of whatever variation you're working. You can walk the toes in, and then lift one leg and then the other. Taking a couple of those variations in and out. Working just a couple more of whatever variation you're using. And then dropping down and sitting back in child's pose. We're going to make our way back up onto the forearms and knees. Pressing the chest back toward the thighs, lift the knees away from the floor. Make sure the arms are out in Sphinx this time. And we're gonna come up like we went down. So press evenly into the hands as much as you can. And at the same time, if you can, lift your elbows up off the floor, coming back to down dog. If one side did all the work, don't worry about it, that's normal. From our down dog here, let's step the right foot forward and come to a lunge. You can use a block here if you like. You can have the right hand on the inside or the outside of the ankle. We're gonna drop the left heel to the floor. Let that hip kind of open. Take your left arm up toward the ceiling and open the front of your body to the left. So sink into the hips. You can prop up on the thigh if that's where you need to be, or the arm can just simply hang down the inside of the shin if you can't reach the floor or you don't have a block. Nice deep breaths, and then release back to your lunge and step back down dog. Switching to the second side, step the left foot forward, toes all the way to the fingers. Right hand to the inside or the outside, dropping the back heel. And then take the right arm and sweep it up toward the ceiling. Tucking the hips up underneath, try not to let them slide too far to the left. Prop up on the thigh, on a block, wherever that left arm needs to be. And then release that side back to your lunge. And into down dog again. Let's step the right foot forward again, toes all the way to the fingers. Rolling over the back toes, drop the knee to the floor. Keep the hips really low here, and if the hands need to stay down to make that happen, leave them there. Keeping the hips low, see if you can slide your hands up to the thigh, lifting your upper body more vertical. You can press against the thigh to lift the chest and lean back even a little bit, and the hands can stay here or extend along the sides of the head, reaching up or back-ish. Continue to sink into the hips. Let your chest open and lift. And then we'll release that. Roll over your back toes again and step back to down dog. Switching sides, bring the left foot forward. Toes to fingers, wiggle them up if you need. And then roll over the back toes so that that knee is a little closer than before. Sink into the hips, leave them really, really low. And maybe the hands climb up. Maybe the upper body lifts a bit more vertical, and maybe the arms extend alongside the ears. Keeping the chin tucked in, you can look up toward the lifted hands. And gently release. Rolling back over the back toes to lift that knee, and then stepping back into your down dog again. Let yourself shift and wiggle, shake it out. Shifting forward, let's come to a plank. Press through the heels, make sure the belly's pulled in, and then lift back to down dog. We'll drop down to the knees, and then make your way around into a seated position here. Let's extend the legs out long, taking inner thigh rotation again here. Sitting up nice and tall, let's go ahead and cross the right leg over the left. So that foot is going to be flat to the floor. We want to make sure that the pelvis stays upright, the spine stays tall. If you can bend your left knee and bring your heel in front of your right sit bone, go there. If it makes the hips sit funny, don't worry about that. Wrap the left arm around the leg. Use your right arm like a second spine behind the back. And push into that right arm, pull with the left, and rotate around into maybe a little deeper twist here. Sit up tall, make sure you're breathing. We'll release that, coming back through the center. Unhook the legs and switch sides here. So left over right. And then the right leg can stay straight or the knee can bend. Again, making sure that you don't sit on the heel so that the pelvis can be level. Spine nice and tall and even. Wrap the right arm and support with the left arm behind your back. Sitting tall. Breathing nice full breaths. And we'll release to come back to the middle again. Extend the legs out long, give them a little shake. And then hang on to the hamstrings, tuck your chin, and roll on down to your back. Pulling the knees into the chest. Allow yourself to rock a little bit here. And then we'll release, taking the feet flat to the floor. We're going to work into bridge here, so we want the heels pretty close to the hips, not quite touching, feet hip bone distance apart. The arms are as tight down the sides of the body as you can manage. You can bend the elbows if that helps you get those arms a little closer. We're going to press down into the triceps, pull the heels toward the hips, and lift the hips up off the floor. Don't worry about high necessarily, just feeling a nice stretch. You can interlace your fingers behind your back again, drawing the shoulder blades a little closer together to get a little lift through the chest. And of course, that may lift into the hips as well. Keep the neck comfortable, tailbone tucking toward the knees. Make sure you're breathing. And then let's gently release that. Release your fingers, drop the hips back down. Keep your feet flat on the floor for just a breath or two. You can draw the knees into the chest and rock again here. And then take the feet back to the floor again. From here, we'll cross the right ankle over the left knee. Reaching back behind the right thigh here, interlace your fingers. Press the left leg away with your elbow and draw that right leg in toward your chest. Work to keep the feet flexed so the knees stay safe. Nice full breaths here. Continue to draw the arms toward the body. And now use the leg to push back into the hands. So you got a little bit of push and pull going on. Make it enough work that your arms shake maybe a little bit. And then we'll release it, taking that foot flat to the floor, uncrossing and recrossing the second side. So right over left, reaching back behind the left thigh, pressing the right leg away a little bit as you pull the left leg in. Again, watch that the feet stay flexed. Continue to gently draw in toward the body. Draw in as deep as you can get. And then start to use the leg to push back into the hands. Again, give it that push and pull. Make it like work. Releasing that, take the feet flat to the floor again. Let's open the arms out into a T position. Picking your hips up, move them over to the left edge of your mat and let the knees fall to the right. So tucking that right hip up underneath a little bit and then just resting the legs to the side. Let the legs be heavy. Try to allow your left shoulder to drop back. And if you want to look over the left hand, feel free to add in turning the head. Nice full breaths here. Bringing yourself back up to center. Shift the hips back to the middle and then take your hips over to the right and let the knees fall left. Same idea here, just releasing into your twist. Allow the muscles to be heavy and relaxed. And let's bring it back to center. And once again here, draw the knees in toward the chest and rock. Pull the knees in good and tight. Draw the forehead toward the knees, squeeze up. And then let's release that into a full body stretch, fingertips to toes and everything between. Get really long. And then release that stretch, allowing your arms to come down by your sides. Taking a moment to make sure the body is comfortable. So if you prefer a seated meditation or your feet flat to the floor, or you like to prop up something behind your knees, feel free to make your way there, wherever there is. And then just allow the muscles to release, feeling heavy into the mat. Bringing the awareness back slowly to the breath. Simply spending a little bit of time, however long you decide, simply observing yourself breathe, keeping the mind quiet, and allowing yourself to rest. Namaste.